So once again, welcome to our office hours. This webinar is about exit windows. Um, and let's kick it off. So what we're going to talk about today, everyone, is we're going to go through an introduction to stake, especially useful for our anybody who's unfamiliar. Investors already on stake should be familiar, but this is a good intro to anyone who's not too knowledgeable about it. Then we're going to go on to understanding exits on stake, what they are, what they're for, how you use them, how they're good for you, and then move on to a feature refresh where we'll go through some new additions to the product. And then finally, we'll finish up with a live product demo. I will take you through the app. I'll share my phone screen, and we'll go through listing shares to sell and then buying shares from the exit window to show you exactly how it works. Finally, we'll finish up with a Q&A. And giving this webinar are myself, Fahad Badran, and my good friend and colleague, Saran, will both take you through this webinar. We also have a colleague who will be helping answer your questions on the call, Burhan. And with that said, I hand over to Saran, and let's go.
Awesome. Thanks, Fad. Welcome, everyone. So real quick, just want to start with the basics on kind of who are we, to get that intro to anyone new who might be joining us. So next slide, please. Yeah, so real estate again is a super popular asset class, as many of us know. It attracts everyone from individual investors to large institutions. And, there's always also that person in your friend or family who knows some guy in property. So it is something that's popular. But to be honest, let's face it, there's, still a lot of hurdles and kind of barriers for someone to get started by investing in this asset class. So some of them are restricted access. So again, getting a piece is very limited to those who can afford it. There's a large capital involved, and there's also some knowledge that's required to kind of understand how to dip your toes in and expose yourself to this asset class. There's inconvenience that also goes around along with the buying process. There's a lot of clunkiness. You have to deal with a lot of middlemen, brokers, negotiation, and also the legal procedures. So a lot of offline work and a lot of hassle that comes with investing in real estate. At the same time, we have concentration. So given real estate requires large sums of capital, if you're investing in, let's say, one property, you're really taking a large sum of money and concentrating that into one specific asset class and one specific asset. So in other words, that's putting their eggs in one basket. And then you also have issues on the transparency side. So real estate again is a huge jungle of information. It's often unregulated in many senses, and there's a lot to it to assess deals to make sure you're not falling into the wrong hands. The deal you're looking into actually makes sense, and everything surrounding that. And there's no real alternative to investing in real estate. It is a very strong and popular asset class. You do have REITs, but again, they are usually not that high quality to invest in, and they don't have a great track record. And then lastly, coming to the liquidity aspect, which is once you're in, you're kind of stuck, and it takes time to find buyers. So again, that really depends on market conditions, the price you're trying to sell your asset at, and host of factors. But real estate, as in general, is illiquid. And to get that liquidity, of course, the buyer and the seller have to reach an amicable price. So let's go to the next slide. So what are we doing at Stake? So at Stake, we're basically empowering everyone to own and build wealth through real estate through a completely digital experience and a hassle-free experience for you. You can buy a stake in properties that we source through expertise, through partnerships that we have through our sourcing team, and you can start investing from as little as 500 dirhams. And again, our experience is super streamlined digitally. All you need to do is sign up on board, add your payment method, select a property that you want to invest in, and complete the payment. So all in all, that could be done in as soon as 3 minutes. And of course, like we just mentioned, there is a concentration aspect to real estate. Due to the low minimums with investing with us, you're actually able to diversify large amounts through multiple different assets, thus reducing your risk exposure to one particular asset, but at the same time exposing yourself to the host of benefits that real estate offers. Uh, Fourth, we have fully transparent. So again, our application, we surface all the information that's required, including super detailed IMs, projections, property information, your portfolio, and constantly communicating with you on any status update for the properties that you invest in. So we really hope and aim to be fully transparent in that sense. And then, of course, we're better than REIT because you are directly owning shares in one specific asset class. You're your own kind of fund manager. You can select the properties you want based on your own selection criteria, and you really are an owner in the real estate directly. So lastly, which is what we're going to discuss later on in this call, is the selling aspect and realizing those returns. Ultimately, we're all here to invest and make money and actually build wealth through the real estate. So what are the exit options? That's what we'll be discussing a bit later on. Next slide, please. So we have actually rapidly become the leading real estate investment platform in the MENA region. We've recently reached 8,500 million in property transactions, and we've paid more than 20 million in rental income, and that continues to grow steadily. We're trusted by almost more than 800,000 users worldwide. They're spread across the globe, 170 countries and 190 nationalities. And again, our reviews, our feedback that we get from clients like you is a testament to the work we're doing to really empower everyone to own wealth, to build wealth through real estate. Slide, please. So again, just to kind of showcase, we have really built a robust portfolio of 290 plus properties. We do offer different property types like short-term and long-term, and we're also further expanding through investment strategies. If you've noticed, we have different investment strategies across our portfolio, and we also hope to expand the types of properties we offer with the newer investment strategies in the upcoming months. So all of our properties, again, we have a very experienced team with great connections in the real estate market, with great expertise that really go through complete due diligence in selecting the best properties that we'd like to offer our clients. And we make that available to you through our mobile application, web application. Next slide, please, Tom. Thank you. So again, we at Stake really focus on prime opportunities. And we're not one of those platforms that will just list a property for the sake of listing in the middle of nowhere. It's really a focus on prime opportunities and making it clear what that kind of scope of opportunity looks like. So again, shout out to the investment strategy feature that we just launched. It actually lets you know how we expect and how we see the property to kind of grow. And we have more than 20 areas in Dubai's neighborhoods. And we really want to operate units that we want to live in ourselves. They're super high quality, well sourced, again, not to repeat myself too much. So that's what you can expect from us. Okay. Slide, please.
Okay.
So coming to exit options, what are your options? So first, to truly kind of redefine real estate investing digitally, we really had to solve for the lack of liquidity. So once you invest in a property, how can we ensure that you actually realize your returns? So physical assets are firstly not quickly convertible into cash. You need to find a buyer. You need to find a buyer and agree on the price as well. It's also very time consuming. You have a lot of negotiation back and forth. There's multiple stakeholders involved. And depending on the market conditions, there could be fewer buyers in the market, and there could be a lot of fluctuation, and also lack of transparent pricing. It's very hard to know what the true value of a property is. You kind of have to rely on external sources and your own analysis to kind of make sense of what the true value of your property looks like. So the way we're solving that at Stake is we have multiple exit options. So Fad will be talking and touching upon that in detail later on. But basically, you can get your money back at maturity from your investment. So that's when the property is significantly appreciated, and we actually make a sale in the market, a full property sale. Or you can take, get your returns back through our exit options to the exit window, which is what is currently ongoing. And so, yeah, so secondary listings are basically listings that our users are creating on the platform, and buyers can go and buy the shares that they're interested in, maybe in properties that were previously funded that they were interested in, and now they have that opportunity to do so. Next slide. So yeah, just to touch upon again the exit mechanisms, we have the full exits. So currently our holding periods are range from like a standard of 5 years. And of course, we do early property sales when we do have a significant appreciation of the property. And again, a full exit means we're completely selling the property in the market to another seller. So usually the sales triggered in the event we have over 30% return on investment. But we also initiate voting processes due to different circumstances that may happen where investors can vote whether to sell or not to sell. Then we have the biannual exit window, which we first introduced in May 2023. And as Fad mentioned, we were kind of the industry leaders to bring this feature to our platform. They're open for 2 weeks, once in May and then once in November. So we're now in November. So this is the second exit window this year. And it really works like a marketplace where you can list your shares and you have buyers and sellers, almost creating like a marketplace. Operationally, this is a very demanding process. Like I mentioned before, real estate has a lot of manual paperwork, a lot of stakeholders to involved, and we actually take away all that hassle for you. But for us, it's very operationally demanding to carry on this exercise, and we also have to deal with parties like the Dubai Land Department and the Dubai International Financial Center. But we do take away all that hassle from you and ensure that the transfers take place in time. And then currently the way we operate our windows is that properties are eligible for sale after 1 year lock-in period from the date when their SPV registration is completed. So once you invest after a year, the next window is when your property will be eligible for you to exit if you need. And I just want to emphasize again, the exit window, the way we see it, is a emergency kind of exit lever, because we truly believe that real estate is a long-term investment asset. And a maturity period of 5 years is how we base all our projections. So that's when we really start to see those returns pile up. But exit windows do provide an opportunity to exit for whatever circumstances you may have, or if you're in a profit, also realize that profit. But I'll pass it over to Fad to discuss more in detail.
All right. Thank you very much, Saran. Moving on, what we're going to go through now is a little bit more on the exit window, a refresh for new users who may not have seen our product or this whole concept of the exit window. So, as Saran mentioned, our exit window was designed to bring flexibility and liquidity to everyone investing on stake. We have it twice a year, once in May, once in November, each being 2 weeks long. And during those 2 weeks, you as an investor have the freedom to list your shares to be sold or buy shares that others have listed for sale, a marketplace. Just a quick note on eligibility. To buy any shares that others would have listed on the platform, you must have at least one fully funded investment, and as sellers, you must have held your investment for at least 1 year from the date of the SPV being registered. So basically, if you want to sell any of your shares, you must have owned that for a year, or at least a year. Okay. Something very important to note here, something Saran also said, is that this is not a trading tool. It's an exit strategy. By that, we mean that it is definitely recommended that you hold until for the entire holding period, which is up to 5 years. Now, we have we usually exit 2, 3, 4 years, but we really recommend that it's held up until we do a full exit. The exit window, which is this one, is a place for you to exit should you have the need. It's to provide freedom. Okay. Moving on. Oh, and sorry, one more thing I forgot to mention, which we'll see when we do the product demo in a moment, which is you as a seller can choose to list your shares at a discount. Just you can choose 5%, 10%, 20% discount, so you can make your shares more attractive for buyers. As you can imagine, the ones with higher discounts are more attractive and sell a lot faster. All right, moving on. Our last exit window in May 2024 really exceeded our expectations, and it really shows how much demand there is for between both buyers and sellers to list what they own and buyers to get in on properties they may have missed out on in the past. So some metrics that we monitor closely. Across more than 50 eligible properties and like 1,500 listings plus, we transacted almost 7 million dirhams last May, with more than 6,000 transactions, with a seller liquidity of about 50%. That means if you list a share or list your shares, you have a whopping 50% chance that they will be bought. So our first window, if you want to go way back 2 years ago for the very first exit window, that had a volume of 2 million dirhams. And if you compare that to the one just a few months ago of almost 7 million, that's a really, really big increase. And we're very proud of that. In terms of time, it does not take much time for you as a seller on average to sell your shares that you list. So it's roughly around 3 hours we see on average for stakes to be picked up and bought by buyers, and the volume of successful sellers increased a lot, more than 100%, around 138 actually over here, compared to the previous exit window. So basically, long story short, it's a very active period. And we recommend that, well, after I do the product demo, you go ahead for yourselves and check it out. Okay, so moving on, both buyers and sellers, of course, stand to benefit from their experiences. As a buyer, you have the very rare chance to pick up shares that were listed by sellers at a discount. So if you are a seller and you decide that you want to exit in this exit window, you list your shares at a discount. As buyers, it's a great opportunity to get these shares at a lower price, at a much lower price. The second advantage is that you can buy shares in properties that you already own to increase your percentage ownership. And finally, you have access to all properties that all sellers are listing. So if you missed out on some unit in the past, keep an eye open for it being listed in this exit window. Okay, so as a seller, like I mentioned before, this is not a trading tool. But nonetheless, if you see that you have appreciated enough and you want to realize your profits, you can do that. The exit window is your chance to do that. Of course, it's even better if you hold it for the full holding period, but you have the freedom to realize your profits in the exit window. Number two, of course, this is an opportunity for you to free up funds. Should you need the money, the exit window is a place for you to withdraw your money, to sell your shares and then subsequently withdraw. Finally, and last but not least, flexibility. This exit window is all about flexibility. You can choose to list your shares at the price at 0% discount, so at that same price, or up until 20% discount. As you can imagine, the bigger discount you give, the faster they get picked up. Okay, moving on. So let's explore the product a little bit and the features that you guys should look out for. We have filter listings. These allow you to just search for whatever properties you are most interested in. So if you're looking to buy a particular property in a particular area or neighborhood in Dubai that is above some yearly investment return or has a particular projected net yield, you can set those in the filter and you can see only those properties. Of course, yeah, as you can see here, you can choose to see only units with stakes with a discount, and you can sort it by however way you like. Real-time alerts. You can set your alerts in the product so that you get notified when any of your criteria are met. So let's say you set up an alert for Dubai International Financial Center. As soon as a property or shares are listed by another seller that matches that criteria, you will get a notification so that you don't miss out on anything. Of course, things get bought and sold really fast. So just keep an eye out on the app as well. Okay, I guess that is the end of the presentation. I will now be taking you on a live product demo. So please just give me a moment so that I can share my screen on my phone, and I'll be right back with you. Hello again. I am back. Can I just ask my colleagues to confirm that they can see the screen? Okay, fantastic. Let's go. So everybody, this is the property listings page. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. This is where you see all the properties that are available for investment. Of course, this is not the focus of this webinar. Our focus is the exit window. So at the very top, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on View Secondary Listings. And this is where you're going to see all the shares that are listed for sale. So these are shares that other sellers have listed, and you can go through them and buy whatever you like. So I'm going to do that with you. I'm going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to be a seller. So I'm going to list something that I own for sale. And then I'm going to show you how it is to be a buyer. I'm going to go ahead and buy some shares that are already listed. So we're a seller right now. I'm going to go back. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to my portfolio. Since when you scroll down, you see my stakes. This is the list of properties, or I should say stakes that I own. And these are the ones that I can sell. I have 12 stakes in total, and I'm going to choose to sell the very first one over here. You can see that it's eligible for the exit window marketplace. Clicking in, I'm going to see the investment details page. And you can see that I already have 10 shares listed. But for the sake of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and list some more shares to sell. Okay. So at the very bottom, you see sell and buy. I'm going to click on sell right here. As I mentioned before, and my friend and colleague Saran did as well. Selling now means missing out on the bigger returns that we get in a full exit. But let's move on with the demo. Continue. Yes, I do want to sell, to list these shares for sale. So how many do I want to list? Let's say, well, I have 242 available. I'm going to list 100. at a let's say 5% discount because I want them. I think I've already appreciated enough, and I want them to sell fast. Like I mentioned, the greater the discount, the faster you get picked up. So let's just go down. We see here that my investment amount, 98 dirhams. The average cost price, 0.98 per share. The selling price is 1 dirham per share at the 5% discount. You can see here the returns that I'm going to get. So as a seller, I can see if I sell these 100 shares right now, if somebody does pick them up and buy them after I list them on the marketplace, I'll be getting a return on investment of 3%. This is, once again, I know I keep repeating it, but this is one of the reasons why we recommend a full holding period. Nonetheless, I want to realize my 3.29% profit. So I'm going to go down and confirm my listing. Agree? And there you go. Fantastic. Your listing is live. You can expect to see here in the exit window, if somebody does buy them, the timeline for you to actually receive your money on the Stake app. All right. So I'm going to go. Actually, let me go to view listing so you can see it, see how it looks. As buyers, this is what appears on the product. This is how people shopping for stakes on the exit window will be able to see. Okay, that I've listed. You have 100 shares, and you can buy as many of them as you want. Now, let's go back and be a buyer and buy some shares. Of course, needless to say, at the very bottom of the screen, you can see a big red button for canceling the listing. You can go ahead and cancel it if you want, but let's go back and be a buyer. Okay, so now we're in buyer mode. Let's go inside the exit window. On the top right, you'll see a nice yellow icon that says it's open. All right, the exit window is open. I can choose to buy secondary listings or sell my stakes. Let's buy. So buy secondary listings. Scrolling down, I can buy any one of these that are listed. Of course, before the webinar, yeah, it's okay. So I can go ahead and choose any one of these. I'm gonna choose, just gonna scroll down. Okay, one bed in Standpoint, downtown Dubai. This person is offering no discount, but I think I like this property and I want to buy it. So I'm going to click inside. Now I see here that there are 400 shares available, and the projected yearly investment return is 5%, with a projected net yield of 2.9%. Going down, I can see all the other details, including a property value chart to see how much this property has appreciated, and the available share prices. If you click on available share prices, this shows you the share price as well as the annualized ROI. At the very bottom, where you see AED 1.02, 400 shares available, that's where you see all the different stakes available for sale here. Usually, when there are multiple sellers selling at different discounts, this is where you'll see all the different options available: 0%, 5%, 10%. But in this case, there's only a 0% of a discount available. I'm going to go ahead and buy the shares. Okay, so there are 400 available. Let me buy 200 of them. Rather, let me just, for the sake of this example webinar, I'm going to buy just 50. Okay, so that's going to cost me 50.89 dirhams. I'm going to review my order. Yes, I agree. Okay, and there you go. This is the summary. My investment amount is going to be just under 51 dirhams, buying 50 shares, share price of 1.02, and a discount of 0%. Just a quick note here, the share price is 1.02 because this property has appreciated. So it used to, if I were an initial buyer at the beginning in the primary market, I would have bought it at 1 dirham per share. But since this has appreciated, I'm now buying it at 1.02, just like you would any security in the stock market, for example. Okay, so I'm going to place the order. All right, and there you go. Fantastic. My investment has been confirmed. This is now visible in my portfolio. If I press continue, and I'm back in my portfolio, there it is. It's that first one at the top. You see it says share transfer pending. Go inside and you can see all the details, including, most importantly, the funding timeline, where I can see that the share transfer will take place around the end of January, and I'm going to get my first rental payment from my new investment that I got in the exit window at the end of on the 31st of January. And that, my friends, is the end of the demo. I think now we can focus on Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
All right. So we do have some questions come in. I see, Burhan, you've been answering some of them. There are a few questions that I'd just like to answer on the call. So first question we have here is, if I buy a property in the exit window, will there be a lock-in period, or can it be sold in the next exit window? So properties that you purchase in the exit window can be sold in the upcoming exit window. As a quick answer, the lock-in period only exists if you're buying from the primary market, or if you're making an investment in the primary market. That's when we have a 1-year lock-in, and it's on a property basis. So once a property crosses a 1-year mark with being on our platform, it's eligible for all subsequent exit windows. There's also a question around, why would I, as a seller, sell at a discount? So as Fahd and I have repeated, it's, again, the way we see exit windows is as a liquidity tool and kind of an exit strategy in circumstances that are known to yourself. So for example, if you're in the need of money and you've invested large sums with us at stake, exit windows gives you the opportunity for selling those shares. And if you really, really need the money, you will have the opportunity to list at a discount and, again, attract buyers. So like Fahd mentioned, bigger the discount, the higher the chance and sooner the chance that your shares are going to be sold. We do also see a lot of liquidity come in at 0% and 5% discounts.
It seems we might have lost our good friend Saran. It's okay, because I'll take over until he comes back. Okay, so I guess the question he was answering was, why would I, as a seller, sell at a discount? Like he was saying, we recommended holding to hold the investment for the full period of 5 years. But you, as a seller, if you want, you have the freedom. We provide the freedom. Should you need to withdraw your money, to sell your shares and withdraw your money, that need is facilitated through the exit window. So why should you sell it at a discount? It's if you want to sell faster. The greater the discount that you give, obviously makes it much more attractive to buyers. So you can choose to put it at 5, 10, 15, or 20 so that it gets sold faster. Just looking through the questions here. Maybe I can take another one. So I want to upgrade. I see a question. I want to upgrade the reward tier by buying secondary shares, but it doesn't seem to be possible, as only one buy is possible. I can't buy multiple secondary listings to upgrade at once. So you should be able to buy anything that is listed in the exit window in the marketplace, that is listed for sale. And that does count toward your reward tier. I believe that answers the question. You should not have any issues with that. Okay, let me see what else I can pick up. Can the stake system only be interfaced with a smartphone, or is the desktop browser a viable point of access? So we have a mobile app and a web app. So you have the option to do everything that you can do on mobile and on web. I will take this opportunity to recommend the app. The app possesses greater functionality, greater design than the web version. So I would definitely recommend that if you have the choice, but you can definitely invest in web as well. Moving on, let me see. %20 discount items are to buy are almost immediately gone the moment an alert comes in from the exit window. Is the app protected against botting and bots? Yes, so the app is protected against bots. And I think this goes to show, Muhammad, that the 20% discounts go very fast. They're very popular. People, I think even for 20%, the alerts might not be fast enough because people are just on the app, looking for these discounts and they buy them quite quickly. So for those big discounts, I recommend checking the app. That would be your best strategy because everyone is on the app and they are looking for them actively. What are stakes plans for the future from Mr. Mobin Din? Mobin, we have huge plans for the future, but I don't think this is the right webinar to talk about them. I will quickly say that we are working on a launch in Saudi Arabia, as well as a lot of cool new things coming up in the near future. But hold on for those webinars. Okay, let me look for any other question I can take up.
I can take one, Fad.
Okay,
So I see
Saran
the
is back
question.
and handing over back to you, Saran.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so there's a question around what happens when the listing expires. So the listing actually doesn't expire until the exit window is closed. And at that time, when the window closes, if the shares that are sold, but any shares that remain unsold remain in your portfolio. And then you have the chance to either continue holding that or list them for sale in the exit window. But the listing will only expire when the window closes, or if you manually cancel it, of course, then the listing will be canceled. All right.
Okay, Saran, let me take over the questions for a little while and I'll hand over to you. Let me see what the
Yep.
Q&A is.
Seeing what's coming in.
Okay, so I can take this question. I'm getting so from Anonymous, do you think it's a good idea? Or where did it go? There it is. Do you think it's a good idea to buy shares in the exit window at a discount? I'm asking because I see that the net yield on the properties are low. Also, I'm asking because it is known in Dubai that the older the buildings, the less people are attracted to rent apartments in them, and hence investing in these will be less attractive. Okay, a couple of things to unpack there, Mr. Anonymous. First of all, like my colleague mentioned early in the webinar, stake only sources prime properties. So we only target really valued, sought after real estate units around the city, like the IFC, Business Bay, the Palm, etc. So the properties that we choose are already in high demand. So in terms of old buildings that people don't want to move into, that's taken into account when we source the buildings, when we choose which ones to list on the platform. And your main question, do you think it's a good idea to buy shares in the exit window at a discount? Quick answer is yes. The higher the discount, the better. For obvious reasons, you'd want to buy anything at a cheaper price, including shares in properties, including shares in companies on the stock market, etc. So the answer is yes. Now the question is whether that unit that you're looking to buy at a discount has appreciated a large amount, and whether it's near the end of its holding period. But quick answer to question, yes, the bigger the discount, the better. Over to you, Saran, if you want to pick up one or two.
Yep. So I see a question on the price of selling. So the price of selling is based on the current market value. So if your shares have already appreciated, let's say you bought for 1 dirham in the primary market, and now your shares are at 1 dirham. Hence, your current market value would be 1 dirham 20 cents per share, and you have the opportunity to list at that price or up to 20% below that price. So it's not based on that initial purchase price. It's based on the current share price of your property. Let's see what other questions we have here. So we have a question here saying, what happens if properties bought by someone else other than stake during the funding time the property is listed on the app? So when we actually list the property on the app, it remains exclusive to us. And then when the property is funded, we take ahead the transfer process and register that property on the name of your investors to the SPV.
I see a question here by Ahmed Hamalawi. Does the data on application mention anything about the rent of the apartment for the last couple of years? So on the application, you will be able to see whether the unit is rented or not. So that is the answer. There is nothing that tells you the history over the past, several years, but you can definitely see whether it is rented or not.
There's a question on Mahmoud saying he sees a lot of properties selling at market value. What's the max appreciated property so far in the current exit window? So again, the listings are at the discretion of the sellers. So we do see listings across the board at different discount levels. And you'll have people selling at the current market value after holding the property for just a year. And of course, you'll have people, holding properties for 2 years that are selling. So it's really a very dynamic kind of window. And then in terms of what's the max appreciated property, our exit window has only been active for 2 days. But we will have, all the insights from this window available after the window closes. But we do see, again, across the board, range of returns that investors have.
Okay, let me see. Let me pick up a question. I see here, if a property after 5 years did not appreciate much, if the majority wants to sell it after 5 years, will Stake sell it at a loss or the same initial purchase price? Well, Mr. Anonymous, we've been doing such an amazing job that we actually have not had to wait a full 5 years so far in the history of Stake to sell a property, to do a full exit. That is our maximum, but we have so far exited in much faster time frames. So thankfully, this problem does not exist. But we always do try to, we're always, of course, aiming to sell everything at a profit. That's our objective. Should that not be possible for any reason, that would be communicated and it would be done through a vote. So I hope that answers your question, but we're actually selling much faster than 5 years. Over to you, Saran, or I can look up for some more questions. Okay, I find one here from Gilberto. Are you planning a feature on the exit window which would allow investors to enter a markup instead of a discount or other present options? So we have a roadmap full of ideas, features, and initiatives for the coming months. I'm not sure that we would want. I'm not sure that we're going to work on this particular one of providing a markup. It is possible. But for now, we have much more interesting and exciting things to roll out and launch for our users. Okay, let me take another one over here. Is the January 2025 payout the same for all properties so we can exit and receive funds this month? I would direct you to the timeline, which in the product demo you saw a timeline that showed when the shares will be transferred and then when you can expect your first rental payment. For the exit window, since it is from the 5th to the 19th of November, yes, January or the end of January is the all properties have that same expected date for the transfer of ownership, i.e. the title deed and share certificate, as well as the rental payment. Okay, let me see if I can pick up another question. All right, the last question we have here is oh wait, it's gone. Okay. What is the meaning of markup? That came up, my dear friend, from another attendee's question. They were asking whether we have plans to allow sellers to sell at a higher price, not only at a discount. And my answer was, we have way more exciting products and features to launch, and that might be a possibility in the future. We don't know right now. So, but a markup just means more higher price than the original, as opposed to discount. Okay, let me see if I can take this other one that just came in. What are your expectations of real estate market performance for the next 5 years? Will there be any effect on Dubai real estate market with unexpected global events and instability with a global market crash? By Anonymous. Well, Anonymous, no one can tell when a crash will happen. As far as stakes expectations go, we do not expect a global market crash. Of course, if a global market crash would occur, there would be much greater problems. But we do not see or forecast any global market crashes in the future. The real estate market performance for Dubai based on the Seville and other well-known real estate experts is positive for Dubai. Dubai is actually doing much better than a lot of other major cities around the world. But those are projections, and nobody can tell what happens in the future. All right, let's see. I have more questions coming in.
I can take this one, Bob.
Go ahead, Saran.
So we have a question on the exit fee, if it's applied to the proportion to the number of shares sold, or if it's fixed irrespective of shares sold. So the exit fee is only applicable to the portion of the shares sold. It's a We charge the fee, which is a 2.5% fee. And again, it's based on the shares you list. So it's a fee that we only charge at the time of exit. All right, let's see if we have another question here. We have said asking why I can't buy direct with 20% discount. Means I plan to start with you to exit window, but you said 1 year investments. I think uh I think what he means is whether they're actually able to make their first investment at through the exit window. And currently, the eligibility is you require at least one primary market investment to be eligible to even buy in the exit window. I
Okay.
think that's all good here. Yeah, looks good here.
Yes, I think that's all good, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Uh, Saran and I and Burhan and Haya here at Stake, hosting this webinar. Would like to thank everybody. Hopefully, you've learned a lot. Hopefully, you'll, if you don't already have the app, you'll go in and sign up and have a look, take part, and that's it. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.